Hey, welcome to day 5 of the Playbook project, where we are building out a process workflow checklist management tool to really standardize standard operating processes in your business. In my business, Harvest Profit, which is a farm management software company, we've grown from myself to 5 or 6 employees, well, to 6 employees. We've started to define some standard processes for the business and really looking for a tool to help us work more on the business and not in the business, myself specifically. And so as we started to define some of our business processes, realize that we have a need for some flexibility in creating these processes. Frankly, we're probably going to have a need for a native mobile solution, and so we decided to kick off and build this internal tool that we're going to build in public and release externally. And along with doing this, I like building software. I really enjoyed the process of building Harvest Profit from scratch, really by myself. And so I'm undertaking that again with this Playbook project. So I'm going to be highly transparent on who we're using for design, what we're doing for development, and specifically I'm going to minimize the use of our in-house team. And so I'm really excited to share more as we go here with the transparency along with the whole process of building Playbook, from design to development to building marketing to pricing. And today we are, it's only day 5 of a 100-day project. So we are in the really initial upfront design phase. And so I questioned on what I was going to do here in regards to design. Um, with a project like this that it's just so greenfield, I don't have, I had some thoughts and ideas of what I wanted the project to look like, but I I wanted to leave enough creative freedom for a designer or maybe multiple designers to iterate on the project. And so I had a key decision. I was going to use a firm like 99 Designs or uh, 99 Designs or Design Crowd to build out, to basically hold a contest for a few of the key screens within this application. But I wanted to ensure that we could iterate on that final design, use somebody who's comfortable with the iteration process. And so then I go back to, all right, should we hire, um, engage a designer off of Dribble or Upwork, or reach out to my personal network? We actually don't have any full-time designers in-house currently at Harvest Profit. But what I decided to give a try was this Manypixels service that I'd come across. So it's unlimited design. They do both, traditional print type, banners and brochures and postcards, but they also do web and mobile. And so they have, they've done some pretty good web UI work. And really for the pricing of this, I thought it was a no-brainer to try them out. 1 month of this service, and we're doing this here in 2019, so this is going to change over time. But $399 a month, they it's just a hard to beat price. And so some of the weaknesses of this service that I'll talk about um, are definitely overweighed by what is a very reasonable price, in my opinion. And so what I did is I threw a spec at them, and they generated a couple quick sets of low fidelity prototypes. And then we flipped those into hi-fi prototypes. And so basically here is where we are at today. We had a couple versions, so it might be kind of hard to see. Couple versions, low fidelity, and then we flipped it over to a high fidelity prototype. Um, and this was just based on, about a week long, a little less than a week. I started this pretty much right up front when we started. As soon as I had the initial spec done, I flipped it over because I knew this process was going to be a little lengthy. But here's basically the index where we're going to have our templates. Here's an individual process. Here's the steps for building out a process. And so what we did here is we really just iterated on what each one of these key screens look like. So I'll zoom out again. So we had the Playbook, the process creation screen, the process details screen, and then we had the dashboard and the team screen. So we had a few different key screens that we designed using a designer at Manypixels, and I thought it went well. But the key issue that I came across goes back to some of my prior videos when dealing with project management and iterative feedback, and how a text-based method of feedback is just not efficient. Things get lost. They don't get completed. And although I think this went, really as good as I would have hoped, what I found is they were currently using a really just iterative, so I would add a couple comments, they would reply to my comments, I would add more comments, they would reply, and we got one iteration per day. And so that was great. I thought the work product, the value that we got using Manypixels was, really outstanding. But for a design that is as intricate and as detailed as what we're doing here with Playbook, that feedback loop isn't as fast as it needs to be. I think that is the key downfall to what we have seen, what I've seen working with their team, and nothing against them. This is just if you're going to design a whole UI from scratch for a SaaS software product, that is a lengthy process. And so their service probably isn't that's not what they built their service for, is to create, custom UIs for SaaS products for $400 a month. And so what I'm going to do now, we do have somebody internally here on our team that has, a fair amount of design experience, but I'm actually going to go out to Upwork, because there are a lot of little designs a lot of little features to this that I want to change, but using Manypixels to do that. So if I have 15 things that I want to change and I send that to them, and then all of a sudden, 9 of them are done, 3 of them, need feedback on, and 2 of them just didn't get done for whatever reason, that text-based feedback loop just isn't ideal. And so we need to use more of a checklist or a Kanban. Basecamp doesn't really have Kanban style of project management, but we're going to use their, one of their to-do lists to track the next set of changes for the UI of Playbook. And I'm guessing there's going to be probably 20 specific changes that I would like to make here to each one, to the product as a whole, before I think it's in a good enough state to flip over to our developer. And so we're going to kick that off hopefully today with an Upwork designer. We have a lot of the design components, the colors, the look and feel sorted out, but there's just a lot of little iterative features. And so one thing I will show you here, by the way, this is Figma. So web-based design tool that I'm a big fan of, and I talked about in our last video. But one thing we have here is, here's a process where we're building one piece of a process, so one task, and you can add a component. So you can add each one of these components here within that task. So it's almost like just creating a really highly flexible form, but we haven't built out the UI of each one of these. And so each one of these needs to be designed. And we are going to use Upwork to do that because Manypixels just isn't, we'd have to wait a day or two for each one of these. And so you'd be looking at, realistically, probably a month to just design these really, what should be simple components. And so that's going to be something that we need to be able to turn those around in a more timely fashion. So all in all, I'm really excited about Manypixels. I plan on keeping our subscription there even after we get this design project wrapped up. I'm looking forward to trying them for potentially the landing page for this Playbook project, the marketing site, and then potentially some collateral for brochures, just different graphics. I think it's a pretty exciting proposition that they have, and so it's a little bit funny because I was I was really firing them questions and feedback and a pretty intensive first project here, and I think they're probably going to be excited to see my to see the work from me slow down here for a week or two, because I was definitely getting well more than than my money's worth out of their service. And so, thank you, Manypixels. And I do want to note that they, this text-based feedback, which is just like one big message board, they are moving away from that. They have built a custom backend, which I haven't used yet. So I'm hopeful that there will be a little bit of a more modern project management feel to the backend service that they, or the backend software that they have that's going to power their service, because I do think that just a text-based feedback loop leaves a lot to be desired. With that said, we have a a really good, maybe 50% done, high fidelity prototype that I think we can get to 90% done here by here in the next probably handful of days. And then starting at about, so we're on day 5 now, starting about day 8 or 9, I plan to hop this over to the development, a developer to actually start building it out. So doing the Upwork design iterations and finalizing the specification for the developer are really my 2 key deliverables that I need to get finished here in the next handful of days. So with that said, give Manypixels a try if you haven't, or using a design crowd-sourced design is what I meant to say, like 99 Designs or Design Crowd, I think are 2 really viable routes when you're starting off with such a greenfield project like this, and then working with a really talented designer, whether it's at an agency or somebody you bring on in-house or a freelancer. I've had unbelievably good luck with a couple of designers over the years. We just weren't at the phase of this project that I necessarily thought that was the best route to go. So yeah, Manypixels is great, and we're just moving along here, finalizing our design over the next couple days, and I'll share with you how I'm doing this Upwork feedback loop in tomorrow's video. Have a wonderful day.